Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how this thing works. Now, it's a 3-step process if you want to get the most efficiency out of it. However, you can just use it as a one-time efficiency. Maybe you want to use these as your hallways, and whenever you go to or from, you just go by and shear your sheep. Alright, so the first step you want to do is you want to go ahead and press a button. Now, this isn't too fancy redstone. If I knew how to do it, and actually I think I do, but it's a lot more redstone, a lot more complicated, is you could wire it up so that when you press a button over here, it puts the sheep down. So you are going to have to go back and press this button again. That way the grass grows back and your sheep will end up getting more wool. Okay. So already you guys have seen we've got no wool in our inventory. So let's check what we get. Alright. Pretty good efficiency this time, I will say. So this is after probably about 4 tries. So we got 10 light blue, 13 yellow, 13 lime green, 10 black, 10 red, 12 green, 8 brown, and sort of a mishmash of these colors. So I honestly, I think it's more like 6 tries after seeing that. So basically, you guys can see, it's very easy to start collecting wool down there. That's with only 2 sheep. So if you want maximum efficiency, like I said, make sure you run through here and you grab as much wool as you possibly can from this bottom row here. Otherwise, you can just shear, and when you're ready, collect. Alright, so let's get on to how to build this thing. Okay, so the materials you guys are going to need are very easy to get. 16 minecarts with hoppers, 16 rails, 16 hoppers, about 9 stacks of your favorite building block, 1 stack of redstone, 2 buttons, 2 redstone repeaters, 16 dispensers, 16 buckets, 3 stacks of fences, 1 stack of glass pane, 1 stack of torches, 16 chests, some shears, and 3 stacks of grass blocks. One thing to note, this is very taxing on your iron, so I would definitely see what you're going to need for the iron consumption, and I would definitely go caving a lot. However, the trade-off is any type of wool that you will ever want, and lots of it. Especially when you get this farm built up, if you're consistent with it, these things will fill up very quickly, and you'll never have to worry about shearing another sheep ever again. That's the hope anyways. Okay, so let's talk about the first step then. Alright, so the first step in this process is going to be building the actual space that you're going to need. Now keep in mind that this is a 13 by 17 sheep farm, and it's also going to be 5 high. Now for this, it's going to be a little bit different than this because I wanted to build it in a space that you guys might build it. So maybe this is going to be the top layer that you're going to have in your build, and then we're going to have some staircases going down to the bottom part of the build. Either way, I just wanted to build it a little bit differently than we have it built here, just to give it more realistic look. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is clear out some 11 by 17 space here. Like I said, the actual thing is 13 by 17, so keep that in mind. But for the grass, we need to place down a 11 by 17 slab. That's literally the first step, but not the most grindy step. And believe me, the next step is going to be probably the hardest part. So for this step, we're actually going to use some of our stone, some redstone, dispensers, buckets, and buttons, and of course, our redstone repeater. I think that's everything we need. So make sure you have an infinite water source nearby because you are going to need it. For the purposes of this tutorial, though, I am going to need to get actual water buckets in order to show you guys how this thing works, because unfortunately, this is not survival. So the way I build this is very, very simple. You just start off by making a nice 4 by 3 cell all the way around. So every other block, place 4 of these stone, and that'll make your cells pretty easily. This is a very easy process. but you guys will see why it is also the most annoying and difficult process. And just one thing I want to note before we go on, this is not an instant, boom, here's your sheep farm style farm. It's a lot of time investment, and believe me, it pays off. Alright, so now that this is built, we're going to walk right into the cell and place our dispensers on every single corner, or end piece. Okay, now comes the redstone portion. So basically all you want to do is just wrap some stone right around this guy, and this is going to end up filling all of these pieces in, so the top pretty much looks like it's just made out of stone all the way through. So after it's done, it's going to look like this. Alright, so now all we want to do is we want to just place a great, awesome straight line right through. Whoops. Right through here. And that should give us our awesome, terrific line. And then once again, we're going to throw redstone right in the back of the whole thing. And then probably around the middle, redstone repeater. And it doesn't matter which way it's going as long as it's pointing away from the button that you're going to place. Now once again, I just want to reiterate that it would probably not be too hard. I think if you could do it with a TS flip-flop, wire it to a TS flip-flop that then wires to this, it wouldn't be too hard to make this into a little bit more of an automated system. That way you can walk right through your sheep and press the other button on the other side and make that one go. So, yeah. Alright, so with this in mind, we're now going to place on either side, we're going to place our buttons. So all you need to do this process is just place it right above the redstone and put your buttons down. Now as you guys will see, thankfully we don't have the water going yet. It's going to activate our dispensers and send a signal to them. So I'm just going to fill all these dispensers with our water buckets, and then we will be good to go to the next step. Okay, so now that this step is done, what I've done is I've closed off each one of these cells. Before you do that though, make sure you have your sheep in there. So this is going to be my example cell for the next few steps. But as you guys can see, the whole thing is built. It's very nice, sleek, and fits right where we want it. Okay? So, before you shore things up and really get things going, what you want to do is you want to spend some time incubating lots and lots of sheep. Now, this is the part that's probably the most tedious, and I'm going to explain to you how it works and why we're doing it the way we're doing it. Because if you notice, we have fences over there and not here. So, this is because when you have a baby sheep, they can get caught in these fences right here, and when they grow up, they will die. Let's show you guys what I mean. So as you guys can see, the first place it goes is it's pushed over here because the mom and the dad are occupying those 2 blocks, so of course it can't occupy anything else. So of course the only way to solve this is to incubate them like we do here. Now the little baby's right over here. When it grows up, it won't get caught in the walls, and it won't die, which is good. It will survive, and you'll get lots more sheep. That is the eventual goal. Okay, so the best way to do this, I've found, is just kind of breed them with the water, and that way you can kind of check, make sure that your water actually works. One thing I forgot to mention is always make sure that your redstone repeater is in between one of these cells. Otherwise, you'll have one that doesn't work. Okay? So once you've got yourself lots and lots of sheep, you're able to go on to the next step, which is the transition step. And let's start that now. Okay, so for the transition step, you're going to need your... You're going to need your fences. And this is pretty easy. This is going to be assuming that you've got your tons and tons of sheep. So let me go ahead and spawn a couple in. There we go. Plenty of sheep. Now, like I said, this is for the example, this one cell. So all you're going to do is you're going to replace every single one of these, every single one of these blocks. And, yeah, we actually want, stop hitting that. That's the grass. And there we go. So just replace all these bottom blocks, and these two are going to be the worst, with your fences. So one way to do those two little ones in the middle is just do it like that. And there's some other strategies. Maybe you can work from the back, just to get those things accomplished. Easy one from the top there. Okay, so now I've transitioned our cells, and at this point in the game, if you want to, you do not have to automate it, you're done. So you can grab your shears over here, and you can go ahead, press your button. Oops, I keep spawning sheep. Press your button, shear your sheep, get massive, massive, massive amounts of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful wool, and you're good to go. When you press the button again, your sheep will, of course, go down, and the grass will repopulate, they'll eat, and they will be happy. Okay? But we don't want that. We want to take it an extra step further. We want to automate. So the next portion of this step is, this tutorial is going to be automation. Okay, so for the automation step, what we need to do is, first I'm going to sort of empty this inventory here. We're going to need all of our minecart hoppers, all of our rails, all of our hoppers, and we are good to go. Oh, fences, and a chest. Alright, so we're going to come down here, and what you want to do is you want to build yourself, get this 3x3 tunnel built all the way to the end. Okay, so now that our 3x3 tunnel is built, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build our little catching shells. So what I usually do to build this thing, since it's very annoying and complicated to build these types of things, it's easiest just to clear out this area right here, and I'm going to show you why in a second, even though I'm only going to demonstrate with one cell. Okay, so you're going to have to go ahead and, like I said, make sure that you're in the right cell, so it's going to be here. So we built chest, hopper coming from the chest, and then rail. And now we can go ahead and shore this up. Now before you shore up this side, make sure you do the other side. So chest, hopper, come on, rail. And now you can shore up everything. Okay? Now, after this, we want to put our hopper, our minecart with hopper, and then a fence on top. Of course, this is going to give you an empty chest. And in theory, when we place this wonderful iron block down there, it should suck right in. We should see it in our chest. Perfect. So, that is literally it, you guys. Now, you can make it very decorative and all that cool stuff. There's only one final touch we need to do to the whole system. And that's going to involve our glass panes and our torches. So glass panes, you're just going to throw up on the top, and all this is going to do is when we go ahead and do this and start to shear the sheep's wool won't just fly everywhere. It will make them forced to stay down there, and a lot of it will just go into the water and then obviously attempt to go into the hoppers at least. Make sure you torch up this bottom so that you don't get any unwanted people living in your basement. And that's literally it, guys. It's a very easy thing to build, and the only thing that is a little more difficult is having to grind these sheep out. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Like I said, I may do a tutorial later on how to build a modified version of this with a TS flip-flop. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, happy mining and crafting.